It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
Hello, my name is Ben Minot, although you might know me better as Benny Boy, Oddity Archive, or that jerk that sits behind a cardboard box on the internet. Or more than likely, you have no freaking clue who I am. But that's okay, because I come to you today as simply a concerned citizen. Every year, millions upon millions of people and other beings worldwide, and probably up in the cosmos as well, are subjected to the horrors of the public service announcement, or PSA. These usually 10 to 60-second TV spots will use such tactics as emotional appeals, cute mascots, catchy jingles, and empty shock tactics to try and persuade the hapless viewer into adapting the makers of those ads' idea of an ideal society. It's a deeply harmful and deeply ideological battle, and your mind is the battlefield. I feel like I just made my own unintentional PSA. Damn. And I hate those things too. So much for that concept. But anyway, I think you've probably gathered by now that today marks the much belated sequel, by almost 7 years, to the original classic PSAs, or The More You Know, The Less You Understand episode. And I promise there won't be any mimes dropping dead of a heart attack this time. Not that mimes are off the table completely, but I promise you they won't drop dead on you. But anyway, let's kick things off on the right foot here, shall we? Let's start with some rather shocking content. And other nightmare fuel.
What would you like to play now, huh?
Let's play Earthquake.
Oh, all right. How do you play Earthquake?
Like this.
Oh dear. Earthquake! Earthquake! Oh, what should I do? What should I do?
You should go in a doorway.
Stand in a doorway? I'm in a doorway.
Not with that glass.
Under a table. All right. Oh.
If you remember that, you'll be earthquake safe too.
Someone is smoking over there. Something we cats would never do.
Filling their lungs with thick, dark air.
What a disgusting thing to do.
Humans are smart, but cats are smarter. Listen to cats, you men and women. Take care of your lungs. They're only human.
The American Lung Association, the Christmas Seal people.
What your children do tomorrow sometimes depends on what you do today. Buy United States savings bonds and help your children off to a good start.
accident.
There was a child in the car.
A child. A child?
A child? Cats have 9 lives, children only one. Help them live that life. Buckle them into a car seat. No one wants a child to become a memory.
Memory all alone in the moonlight.
Wasted days, wasted nights, wasted life. Say no to drugs.
Mr. Yuck is mean. Mr. Yuck is green.
When you see it, you'll know quick. Things marked yuck make you sick. Sick, sick, sick. Sick, sick, sick. Mr. Yuck is mean. Mr. Yuck is green.
If you don't tell your children about the danger of drugs, you may find a problem staring you right in the face. A problem that won't go away, or even worse, one that does.
The thing that spurred me into making this episode was a bit of a correspondence I had going on with a viewer fairly recently. And at one point, this viewer submitted a bunch of YouTube links to various PSAs to me. And each one of these was hosted by some celebrity, be it an actor or just a generally famous person. And they were all talking about various ailments, if you will. And there were some of the greatest hits in here, you know, some cancer, heart disease, that kind of stuff. And you'll see some of that in here. But the ones that really stood out to me were for some of the more, certainly at this point, more rare ailments and some truly esoteric ones as well. So the ones that really stood out to me were one from astronaut Ken Mattingly telling us about the dangers of the rubella virus, which is pretty rare at this point, at least in the US. And one from actor Tony Randall telling us all about Myasthenia gravis, which I had never heard of prior to seeing his ad.
I'm here with a very brief reminder for you women. We're all aware of the importance of the Pap test in guarding our lives when it comes to cancer of the uterus. What I'd like to mention is we should have the Pap test done as part of a regular health checkup. So, if it's been a year or more since you've had this simple examination, see your doctor. It's important to you and to the people who love you.
It's a much finer feeling, no matter what our jobs, to play a part in making the world we live in a better one. And one of the things that you and I can do is to help in the fight against our country's #1 infectious killer, tuberculosis. You know, there's an old saying in the theater, everybody wants to get into the act. In the fight against TB, the bigger the cast, the better the show. Will you play a part? Fight tuberculosis with Christmas seals.
I have astronaut Ken Mattingly with me, who has a special interest in both moon flight and the dreaded effects of the rubella virus.
Travel to the moon is only one of today's challenges. Future adventures and their challenges will require a generation equipped with healthy bodies and sound minds.
Rubella in an expectant mother threatens that chance by causing birth defects. We now have a vaccine to prevent this tragedy.
This vaccine is available to children today as a one-time shot. Let's stamp out rubella by having all children receive their vaccinations today.
I'm Tony Randall. Do you know what it's like to wonder if your next swallow of water might cause you to choke because your throat muscles are too weak to perform a function we take so much for granted? Myasthenia gravis patients know. Help conquer this serious disease. Support the Myasthenia Gravis Foundation.
What about people who aren't so lucky? Like the thousands and thousands of children who are born each year mentally retarded. They're often quite helpless. But with help, wonderful things can happen. Like a little retarded boy putting on his own hat and coat for the first time, all by himself. Or maybe a teenager will learn how to work at a job and feel useful, needed, self-supporting. The retarded are people who need people. They can be helped. Won't you support the work of your local unit of the National Association for Retarded Children? Thank you.
Since we're already doing that celeb thing, this next segment only seemed natural. Now, back around 1986, then First Lady Nancy Reagan's Just Say No to Drugs campaign was at the height of its notoriety. And at that time, the great weird offshoot of it happened, and it's a little thing known as Rock Against Drugs. You might have heard of it. And of course, the name should be fairly self-explanatory. It was a bunch of usually rock or pop artists getting roped into making anti-drug PSAs. And the thing was that most of these artists didn't really want to make them. And I should note that this came at a time when drug use was especially rampant in the music business, and that's saying something. But most of these artists were only making these because they had been recently busted for drug possession or drunk driving or whatever, and as part of their community service, they had to make an anti-drug PSA. And so I personally would contend about half of the artists that made these were still very much addicted to whatever their substance of choice was at the time and would remain so for years to come. And then there's a few, and you'll see at least a couple of them here, that were clearly done under the influence of their substance of choice. Now, before I start here, I should note that not all of these come from this campaign. For example, there's one from the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department here, but it still fits because it features a young Danny Elfman, who was still fronting the band Oingo Boingo at the time. He hadn't quite become known for his film scores yet. And for the life of me, I can't tell if it's just his natural quirkiness or if he was kind of mocking the concept of these PSAs.
This is backstage at a rock and roll show. There's no drugs. It's just a good time. We don't need drugs. We got rock and roll. Yeah.
Rock and roll's our high.
Yeah.
I used to do drugs. And one morning I woke up, I looked in the mirror and I said, "You look frightening." Nobody said quit. And nobody said stop or else. I got sick of it, so I quit. And now, life's the beach.
Hi, my name is Danny Elfman, and I'm from the group Oingo Boingo. Often people come up to me after a show, and they say, "What kind of drugs do you use up there, man? It must be pretty strong." And I go, "You're absolutely right. I'd like to share that with you now because the drug is a very, very powerful one. Best of all, it's non-addictive, it won't kill you, and it's free. It's called adrenaline. You can use it too. You know where you get it? Right here. Try it. It's the only safe one."
Watch out, watch out.
Drugs. I stop. You should stop.
Watch out, watch out.
Drugs. I stop. You shouldn't start.
Since I seem to be on kind of a Barrel of Monkeys styled kick here with this episode, let's go ahead and introduce a probably one-off concept to the archive. Here is the hopefully only edition of Yo, Archive Raps, in which I do not rap. I mean, that would just end badly.
My friends, depend on me, Smokey B, to voice a plea. Respect the forest, protect our trees. Oh, what am I doing?
You smoke, baby. What's the trouble?
Round, this isn't
You
me.
smoke, you're 50.
If it's your household budget you want to maximize, you got to have gas to economize. It's heat you can't beat, environmentally neat. Welcome to the home of the energy wise. It's hot, it's hot. You'll save a lot.
Well, I got a little story that you ought to hear about the time I got caught with a six-pack of beer.
Son, I'm gonna yank your driver's license.
My knees began to shake, my head began to spin, cause I was gonna spend a year as a pedestrian. I pictured myself on the night of the prom, just me and my date in the car with mom.
This is so romantic.
We are the dummies crashing on through, busting our heads just for you.
My name is Vince. This job makes me sore. If you'd buckle up, I wouldn't do it no more.
They call me Larry. I'm a dummy too. When you don't buckle up, the dummy is you. Buckle that belt. Got one thing to say, and we know we're not wrong. When you go for a ride, put your safety belt on.
Straight up, freeze. Straight up, freeze. Straight up, freeze. Straight up, police.
Yo, little brother, what's up with these drugs? You want to make a lot of money and be a thug? You want these fancy cars to flaunt your money? But then you go to jail like all the other drugs. Straight up, it ain't cool. You know it ain't safe. Soon you got a 9mm in your face. It's a game you can't win, so don't try to play. Let's spread the word from New York to L.A.
We're here to tell you that drugs are for suckers. Straight up, police. Straight up, freeze.
All right, one last round of celebrity drivel for you here. But this time around, I'm going to confine it to just those celebs that I can honestly say I'm at least some degree of a fan of. And strangely enough, some of these are some of the more creative ones in today's episode.
The solid wastes produced in the United States now total 4 1/3 billion tons a year. The annual throwaway includes 48 billion cans, 26 billion bottles, 4 million tons of plastic, 7.5 million television sets, 30 million tons of paper, and 7 million cars and trucks. It costs over $4.5 billion for disposal each year. Americans see the effect of the present solid waste load everywhere, in smoking dumps that ring their cities and add to the pollution of their air.
I swore I parked my car around here somewhere.
For information about solid waste pollution, write to the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, Middle Atlantic Region, Philadelphia, PA 19106.
There's something out there. It's after kids everywhere. It entices them, confuses them, and can even kill them. That's right. Illegal drugs are everywhere. Cocaine coaxes you in, and then when you least expect it, it grabs you. You're hooked, and it's hard to get away. And have you seen what marijuana does to some people? Oh yeah, you've seen them. Total burnouts. It slows you down. It softens your mind. And in my neighborhood, you need to move quickly and think fast. Drugs. It's a bloody shame.
Pardon me, Cookie Monster.
What? Who that?
It's me, the roving reporter. Don't let me interrupt you. Go ahead and eat your cookies.
Cookies? We no eat cookies now.
No cookies? I thought all you ate was cookies.
No, Monster, no can eat only cookies and be healthy.
Oh?
First, me eat meat and fish.
No cookies. Meat and fish. Well, why?
They give me protein and strength.
I see.
Now milk for good bones and teeth.
Aha! Now for dessert?
Right.
A whistle? A whistle for dessert?
Sure. Blow and whistle give me strong lungs. And...
I get angry just thinking about it makes me mad. Little kids doing drugs, it turns my stomach. That stuff hurts. It stops you from living up to your potential. It holds you back. It hurts the user. It hurts his family. and it hurts his friends. I just want to shake some sense into you kids that are using drugs and thinking about using. So remember, don't, or else. Okay?
Today, Ed will become a killer. And here's his weapon. He can't imagine how anyone could have been so careless. Ed Morgan, everyman. Anyone who handles fire in any form is a potential killer. Anyone can start a fire and never even know it. Please be very careful with fire. Please. Only you can prevent forest fires.
Drugs, drugs, drugs. Which are good, which are bad. Drugs, drugs, drugs. And speaking of things that'll rot your brain like crack cocaine, here's a few earworms. You're welcome.
Drugs, drugs, drugs. Which are good, which are bad. Drugs, drugs, drugs. Ask your mom or ask your dad.
Getting into drugs and being high is a stupid thing to do. But being in control and saying no is not the easiest thing to do. Being original.
Keep on beating the beat. Just on, keep on. Don't be wasting any water. We water every other day because we care about the flowers and the trees and beating the peak. Keep on beating the peak. Just on, keep on. Don't be wasting any water. We never water in the late afternoon because the water in the desert goes away too soon in the desert. It is a home. Keep on beating the peak. Just on, keep on. Don't be wasting any water.
McGruff here with Regina to sing Users Are Losers.
You know it's okay to say no. I'm telling you it's true. Learning when to say no.
Say no.
That's what you need to do. Learning how to say no.
Say no.
Can make a winner of you. 'Cause users are losers and losers are users. So don't use drugs. Don't use drugs. Winners don't use and users don't win. So don't use drugs. Don't use drugs. If you know a user even part of the time, tell
Tell
him
him to quit. Take a bite out of crime.
Users are losers and losers are users. So
Don't use drugs. And help me take a bite out of crime.
The next time they ask you, and they're sure to ask you, don't answer with some silly joke. Just stand up and face them and quickly erase them. Your mind very much if they smoke. They'll try you politely, so sweetly and brightly. It happens with all kinds of folk. Don't beat or retreat, dear. Stand up on your feet, dear, and mind very much if they smoke. For you kick the habit, a mighty tough habit. Goodbye to the cough and the joke. Make sure you don't blow it, and make sure they know it. You mind very much if they smoke. Yeah, yeah, you mind very much if they smoke. Ooh, mind very much if they smoke. Yeah, yeah, don't smoke.
Well, what's that, honey?
I didn't say anything.
Well, then I guess it must be the ghost living here.
Ooh, scare me, scare me.
Jane, let's bail.
Stop, don't drink and drive, don't drink and drive, slow down.
Woody, and I'm here to say there's too much drinking on the road today. Behind the wheel, don't be no fool. Drinking and driving is stupid, not cool.
Stop. Don't drink and drive. Don't drink and drive. Slow down. Drinking and riding, that was really gnarly till my boyfriend crashed like thanks a lot, Charlie. We did, say
Hey, after a game, I like my brew. Some hops and barley, any brand would do. Had one too many, now I'm dead. Should've listened to what my old lady said.
Mommy said you wouldn't drive and drink. Now I'm dead, that really stinks. Stop, don't drink and drive. Can't say it enough, can't say it enough, can't say it enough. Stop.
Nice night out, huh?
Yeah.
What do you say we take a long walk to the dance?
That's a great idea.
Hey, from all of us here at the house, please, don't drink and drive.
To close things out today, I figured, given today's subject matter, I'd better take the opportunity to weigh in on a bit of unwanted national attention that my home state of South Dakota got itself into a couple of years ago. So back in 2019, our state government, in its infinite wisdom, decided that they needed to come up with some sort of semi-provocative campaign to try and address the higher than the national average amount of meth use around here, methamphetamine. And, well, let me just say that South Dakota is not exactly the hippest state in the Union, and I don't think we're exactly the sharpest either. But really, I think I have already figured out the reason for our higher than usual usage around here. It's that there's some folks around here who just have that kind of mentality that if they saw that show Breaking Bad a few years ago, they managed to interpret it as an endorsement of meth use. So, with that, if there's any defense whatsoever to this utterly moronic ad campaign, it's that we probably shouldn't have farmed out the creation of this thing, and it is really their problem, their design, their name, their everything, although we're the idiots that approved it. We shouldn't have farmed it out to a firm in Minneapolis to do this one. I mean, they're way more screwed up out there than we are.
I'm on meth.
I'm on meth.
I'm on it too. So am I.
So am I.
I'm on meth.
Meth is not someone else's problem. It's everyone in South Dakota's problem. And we need everyone to get on it.
I'm on it.
I'm on it.
I'm on it too.
Well, I hope you brought enough for everybody.
Mr. Yuck is mean. Mr. Yuck is green. When you see him, stop and think. Do not smell, do not drink, do not touch, do not eat, or you will be sick. Sick, sick, sick. Sick, sick, sick. If you see a round green face scowling back at you, do not eat or drink or smell, 'cause Mr. Yuck is warning you. Mr. Yuck is mean. Mr. Yuck is green.
Hi, I'm Woodsy Owl, and I'm here to tell you about a dirty word, water pollution.